Hi, it's Richard Evans from the MALThouse Group. Thanks for joining us today. Look, I want to talk to you about the 3 R's: reputation, relevance and revenue, and the amino principle associated with that. The amino being advocacy, membership, education, networking, operations. But specifically, what I want to talk to you today about is advocacy and the importance of advocacy to your organisation, to your brand, and indeed to you. Now, I understand that you're an expert about these things. That's why you're the leader of your organisation. But at the same time, I think there's new politics, new politicians, and there's a different way that governments operate now. They're looking to reduce costs, and there's a greater emphasis on doing the right thing by taxpayers' money. That means we have to get better at the things that we do. So what I've decided to do is put together a half-day seminar to bring together an expert, a specialist, a practitioner and a politician to give you some knowledge about politics, advocacy and how it can help you today. It's new material and it'll be relevant to the things that you do. But look, my own experience as a politician, and I was a federal politician for 2 terms. I had an opportunity to see Paul Keating in action, although he only ever came in for 2 days a week, and it was fun. It was really good to be there whilst he was there. And then I sat behind John Howard for 3 years as well, a very good Prime Minister. But I learned a lot during those 2 terms. As an industry leader, I learned that there is a method of how to approach politicians, a method on how to get things done and changed. And what really I found really interesting was that not a lot of lobbyists and not a lot of industry associations, professional groups or community groups knew how the system operates. They think they do, but not many were as effective as they could have been. So what I want to do is I want to impart that knowledge to you so that you can in fact improve your own capability. Now I know that you're an expert in these things as well, otherwise you wouldn't be a leader. But I want to impart new information that's relevant to you so that can help you get the things back that you want to do. So I want to put on a seminar that's going to give you some benefits. It'll be some new information, it'll be relevant, but you'll also be able to take away some learnings and apply those learnings. It's our guarantee that you'll be able to do that. So, what are we going to do on that particular day? It's 5 hours. I'm going to bring together a group of people. I'm going to bring an expert along. Now this expert is going to bust the myths about politics, and it'll answering some of your questions, it'll be interactive, but it'll bust the myths about what we think politics is all about. For instance, we put politicians unnecessarily on a pedestal, but we forget that they are one of us. But they use the same language as us. We just have to tap into that language and get a better leverage from them to do the things that we want them to do. An expert will bust those myths for us. The second speaker that I will have on the particular day is a specialist. Now this specialist will give you 3 golden keys to help you influence policy, legislation and also regulation. But they'll also explain to you how best to make submissions to government and how best to make submissions to the bureaucracy and how to go about tapping into that government funding that seems to be always available for organisations but never taken up. The savvy ones get it, and what we want to do is show you those 3 golden keys to make sure that you can get access to that government funding that's available for your organisation. The third speaker I thought I'd get along is a practitioner. Now this is someone exactly like you who's going to talk about a case study that he has done recently in dealing with the government, the sector that he deals in and dealing with his members. There's going to be 3 lessons associated that you'll be able to take away from that about what the practitioner did, how he did it and what the results were associated with it. So it's an important aspect, I think, to have one of our own to come along and talk about a specific case study that he has, in fact, recently completed. So within this 5 hours, expert, specialist, practitioner, and the last speaker will be a politician. Now, I think it's important that we actually hear from the other side of the fence to get a politician along to talk about not only what the current political environment's like, and perhaps we can ask some questions about that, but what I really want him to talk about is the relationship that he has with lobbyists and member associations that come to see him about a specific issue, policy, or regulation. The benefit about this particular politician is that he was a former lobbyist, so he's been on our side of the fence as well. Senior government affairs manager, and also running his own lobbyist firm. But he's now active in the federal government, and he's now able to give us both sides of the perspective. And his emphasis will be on the common mistakes that we make when dealing with politicians, and how we can overcome those common mistakes that we make. I think it's important that we actually find out about that. And so therefore, I think with the expert, the specialist, the practitioner, and the politician, I think that it will be new for you, it will be relevant for you, and you'll be able to walk away with an action plan of what to do and how to do it, and how to improve, I guess, your current advocacy portfolio. Now, I know you're an expert, I know you do what you do well right now, otherwise you wouldn't be in the position that you are. But that's why I think that I've learnt that from my own experience as being an executive director of member associations and my long experience in that. But as a politician, I know, a former politician, I know that a lot of member associations don't know the basics of politics, of how government works, of how to go and address and work with politicians. We think we do, and we try it with our submissions and other things, but I think these 4 experts will indeed give you a different perspective on what you might be able to do. So that's it within the 5-hour seminar. And I think I think personally that if I had this information when I was just starting out, it would be magnificent, and I would have learned an awful lot and overcome a lot of the things that have happened to me within my career. But I'm happy to provide this to you to give you an opportunity to learn from these 4 speakers. So that's the deal. 5 hours of an expert, a specialist, a practitioner, and a politician. Now, I would think that getting people together like that for 5 hours, if you look at the pricing of the market at the moment, you'd probably pay $750. You may even, in fact, pay $950 for folks in the top level. But I think that this particular seminar, and I know that it's important to you, and I know it'll be new information, and I know that it will be relevant for what you're doing. But I also know that your budget for such things is quite small and challenging. So I want to make sure that you come along and get this new information. So I'm prepared to give you 5 hours with these folks here in an interactive session that you will be walking away with new learnings. I'm not going to give it to you for $750. I'm not even going to give it to you for $950. I'm not going to give it to you for $600, which I think is probably not unreasonable. What I want to do is give you this 5-hour interactive session for $450 plus GST. $450 for this particular session that I guarantee will provide you new information that's relevant to your operation right now. But look, I know 5 hours, am I going to get a biscuit and a coffee? I wouldn't mind some lunch. They give you lunch at other seminars. Well, they do. They give you rabbit food. They give you sandwiches that are all the same. I mean, if you've been along to some of these sessions, And it's rabbit food, and look, they do it in a bulk session, but I don't want to do that. I want you to come. So I'm going to put an executive lunch on for us. A 2-course sit-down luncheon that we can actually talk amongst ourselves with other leaders of other member associations and enjoy our own company whilst listening to a keynote speaker, our politician. Now, I think that is a fantastic deal for $450, but there's more. I also want to give you Politics for Dummies. Now, this is written by Dr. Nick Economou from Monash University. He's in the major politics department there, and he's written a book called Politics for Dummies. This is the international version. He's written the Australian version about what's important within the Australian context of politics. It should sit on your shelf in your library at work and be reflected upon occasionally when you want to get an answer about politics in Australia. 5-hour session, with lunch, 2-course, sit down with a glass of wine perhaps, Politics for Dummies, all for $450 plus GST. This is what I'm offering, new information, relevant to you, that you can use immediately, take it into action with an action plan, and get it going when you get back to your office and start talking about it with your colleagues. But I know that as an expert as you are, you're probably thinking, well, I've done it. I don't need any more information. I've seen it all, I've done it all, and I don't really need to learn much more. I know that could be in your thinking. So what I've also done is I want to give you an absolute money-back guarantee. In other words, if I don't provide new information for you, if you don't think it's relevant to what you do, then come to me after the lunch, book in hand, tell me with integrity that you got nothing out of that session, that investment of time, and I will absolutely guarantee you this. I will give you back your money. No questions asked. You can keep the book, keep the lunch, keep the information that you actually got from these 4 speakers, and walk away with integrity, knowing that you didn't learn anything new and you didn't have any relevance for you. You may have got some new contacts with the other leaders of member associations there on the day, but if you're not satisfied, completely satisfied, I will give you a money-back guarantee because I know this information is new and it's relevant. And I'm prepared to give you that guarantee, knowing that you will walk away with new information and be relevant to you. But if it's not, come to me with integrity on the day and I will give it back to you. No questions asked. So that's it. 5 hours with an expert, a specialist, a practitioner and a politician. We're going to have an executive lunch, 2 courses, maybe some dessert instead of an entree. We're going to have the Politics for Dummies and we've got a money-back guarantee. Now, it's on the 12th of March, Thursday the 12th of March. That means I've got to close bookings on or around the 2nd of March. I have limited seating because I can't put a mass seminar on. This is an intimate, interactive seminar that's going to drive new information into you that you can actually walk away with an action plan. So it needs to be intimate with your peers within the sector of member associations. So I want you, if you're interested in doing it, to make sure that you get your registration. So push the button below and register today. Do it now, because if you leave it behind, you may not get an opportunity or indeed a seat. 5 hours with these folks. Lunch, Politics for Dummies, and an absolute guarantee. That's it. Now, but wait, hang on. You're thinking, well, what's under the green one here, Richard? Yeah, you're right. I want to make sure you come along because I know this information is new and relevant to you. So I'm going to provide all that information for you for $450. But here's the last thing. Bring a friend. Bring your president, bring your director, bring a staff member who specialises in this area. Bring someone along for absolutely nothing. Nothing. They won't get the book, only one book per organisation, but they'll get the lunch, they'll get the 4 speakers, they'll interact with others, they will learn something, they will increase their knowledge on advocacy, and they'll walk away with new and relevant information. Bring a friend. Lunch, politics, money back guarantee, bring a friend, all for $450. Now that to me is a really good deal. $450 for 5 hours, lunch, free book, bring a friend, and a money back guarantee. A money back absolutely guaranteed. Come to me at the end of the day at 2 o'clock and say, Richard, didn't do anything for me. I'll give you your money back. That's the deal. So let's just recap. 5 hours, expert busting the myths, specialist giving you 3 golden keys, a practitioner giving you 3 lessons on what to do and how he did it through a case study, a politician talking about the common mistakes that member associations make when dealing with politicians, an executive lunch, 2-course, sit-down, dessert, wine, Politics for Dummies book, bring a friend, director, president, staff member, all with a money-back guarantee, all for $450. Now, that is a good deal, I think. And the reason why I've given a good deal like this is because I want you to come. I think it's important. I think there's a need within the sector that we increase our skills, develop our skills much better. You'll walk away with new information, relevant information, and you'll walk away with an action plan. Push the button below for that information. Push it and register, because there's limited spaces and registrations close on the 2nd of March. So come along and enjoy the day, because I'm sure that the rest of us will enjoy your company. Now remember, always, be authentic in who you are. Be honest with the things you say, and be excited with the things you do. And I'll see you on the 12th of March. I look forward to it.